Hello stamping friends, welcome to the November online card class. This month is so exciting because we're going to learn how to make this card holder box. You can put 4 cards in it. You could get 6 with the envelopes, but for this class we're going to be learning how to make the 4 cards that go in here. But first, let's make this box. As a member of the online card class, you do receive the instructions as well as a video to help you assemble your projects. So here's our box. Okay, set that aside. You will receive a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This is Pacific Point. You'll get a piece of the Cherry on Top Designer Series paper. Your pattern may vary. That's just part of being in the class. You're also going to get some cardstock. This is the Watermelon Wonder and the Whisper White. These were cut out with the 2 largest of the Stampin' Up! Banner framelits. You're also going to get a piece of Velcro, and that is to close your box with, so don't throw that away. All right, so the first thing is let's make this box. You're going to need a scoring tool. This is the Stampin' Up! Simply Scored, and I love it because it is so much larger and we have lots of room if we wanted to do something that was 12 by 12. All right, so the first thing is the first measurement, and don't worry about this right now, those will be all in your instructions, is we're going to score at 4 inches, 4 7/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we're going to score at 9 3/8, and then at 10 1/4. Then you want to turn your paper like that, and you're going to score at 7/8. And then you're going to score at 7 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there you have it. All right, let me move this out of the way. All right, so you need to go ahead and fold on the score lines. If you can't see them, sometimes some of the paper, it's harder to see the score lines. I'm going to go ahead and fold and fold. I'm going to wait on this piece just now because I want to go ahead and do some cutting. So I'm going to take my snips and I want to snip on this score line and this one. So these are my middle flaps. Do not cut those off. You're going to need those. All right, and then we have some excess here. We need to just go ahead and cut off this corner because it'll be too bulky if you leave it. And on this side. Okay, so now we have it. So let's go ahead and fold the rest of our box up. And if you'll notice, this box just comes together once you start scoring and all of that. So once you get it to this point, then we're ready to put it together. And you can use any adhesive that you want. If you use the two-way glue, the multi-purpose glue, then it might not be as intimidating because you have a little bit of wiggle room. I'm going to go ahead and do that for you, or you could use the fast fuse, whichever one you prefer. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on these little flaps here. Okay, and then I want to just kind of fold this up. And kind of hold it for a minute just to let that glue set just a bit. And then I'm going to fold these flaps up, these side flaps up, so I need some adhesive there. And again, it just folds into itself. How easy is this? You're going to be able to whip out this box. Once you make one, you're going to be able to just make a whole bunch. And the way that I think you should do is make up a bunch of them and have them on hand, and then you can easily put some other cards in there that you have made or the ones from the Watercolor Wishes card kit and have some great gifts on hand, okay? All right, so I'm just going to kind of hold that for just a minute. And actually, I think I'm going to set it aside. We'll let that set for a bit. And let's talk about our banner. So with the banner pieces, we need to do a little bit of stamping and a little bit of scoring. So I need to get this back out. I forgot. Whoops. Pretend you didn't hear that noise that I dropped something. All right, so if you remember, one of our score lines was at 7/8. So we want to do that again to these two pieces. And then we're just going to kind of fold that. And I'm going to go ahead and do my stamping on here. Get the class, we use the Watercolor Wishes, and do you remember this friend from a couple months ago when we used it for a class? I wanted to use the Just For You and this little dotted decorative piece that was in this set. I'm also going to be using the butterflies on one of our cards that go in here. If you didn't order this set, no worries. I'm sure that you can find something else in your stamp stash to help you out with this. But before I go any further, I have to show you this exciting thing that I learned. I went to a Stampin' Up event this past weekend, and they had taken, do you see what they've done? They took the image sheets and tucked them inside of here. So that was just the coolest thing for me. I hope that you're wowed by it because I was just so impressed. I thought that was so cool. I want to do that to all my photopolymer stamps now. All right, so we're going to get our stamps out, and here's the dotted piece that I told you about. I'm going to put it face down, and then here is the Just For You, and I'm going to just bump that up towards it. And then, as in my photopolymer stamping style, I like to put those face down and then just pick it up with the block. However, yep, it should work. I'm like, is that going to be right? All right, so I'm going to use Watermelon Wonder. Now, if you bought the Watercolor Wishes set, you've got a little spot in there, and I'm using just my full-size pad because I have them. So then I want to stamp across the top. And then I'm going to take off the For You, Just For You, set that aside. And I want to do some more stamping. My bow is going to cover some of this, but I don't know exactly where it's going to hit, so I'm going to go ahead and just do that. All right, so we're done with the stamping part. I want to take some adhesive. Just going to use some snail. And I want to attach it to my Watermelon Wonder cardstock piece. Like that. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to attach our DSP. Again, I'm just going to use some snail, but since this is a box that is going to get open and close, I'm kind of putting a little bit more on there than I normally would, I think. So we just want to center that on here. Okay. Now, I want to point out these little flaps. I found that when I folded it, see how that does? I didn't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just take my snips, and I'm just going to cut that off at an angle, corner to corner, okay, on both sides. Pretty easy. All right, so again, I'm going to go ahead and use some fast fuse at the top. If you don't have it, just put a lot of snail because we don't want this flap to come off. So when you're using the fast fuse, you know to kind of do a check mark. I'm going to put a lot on there. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this down. Now you'll notice that I only put the adhesive at the top piece, okay, because this needs to open. Now let's add our Velcro. So peel off one side. I stuck them together, that way I know they match up. And put this one on this end. Peel this backing off. And all you want to do is just make sure that your box is squared off, okay? You want your lid to be squared off before you attach that Velcro. And I'm going to kind of peel that apart and really push down on those pieces. Okay, so my glue isn't quite dry, so just make sure that your glue is dry on your sides. All right, so we have that. Oh, we are almost done. Look at this. Isn't it fast? All right, as you know, I like to leave my ribbon on. You will receive a piece of ribbon that's already cut, but I'm going to go ahead and just tie a nice size bow with it. And you know I like to leave it on the bolts so that, well, maybe you don't know. I like to leave it on the bolts so that I don't have much waste, okay? This ribbon is gorgeous and we don't want any waste. Let's cut it that way. You need a good strong adhesive to attach this, and you could use the tear tape. You could use, if I wasn't making the video, I could go ahead and use my multi-purpose glue. I think that would hold nicely, but I'm just going to go ahead and tear this tape off and put that right there. Kind of burnish it a little bit, makes it easier for that backing to pop off. Adjust my bow. Ta-da! All done. I hope you love this box as much as I do. I'll see you on the next video.